I'm going to say possibly one of the best examples in the world. Hey everyone, welcome back to another consignment update here at Gardner Holgate Auction Rooms in Corsham, Wiltshire, UK. Today we have a really good selection of Gibson guitars that have recently come in. So it's a Gibson only episode. I would like to point out that the Gibsons you see today, of course, they're not all the Gibsons that we've got coming up in the auction. They are just ones that we've had in recently. There's a whole shelf you can see just down the bottom there. That is Gibson Alley so far. And there's a lot more to be added to that as well. So plenty more Gibsons, which you will have been able to see quite a lot of them in previous consignment updates. So do go have a look at those as well. But this auction is taking place from the 3rd to the 6th of September. Of course, if you are looking at this video and you like what you see, please remember to subscribe to our channel, hit the like button and the bell icon for future content. Get that in early, but you can make your decision on that later on after you've viewed this if you are new to us. But welcome back to our subscribers of old. Always nice to see you back, and of course comment on any guitars that you like the look of, and tell us what your favourite things are. But let's have a look at what we've got coming up in the world of Gibson. Starting with something that is one of my favourite guitars in the cell, just because it's an SG, and this is a really nice vintage example. I'm saying really nice. Some of you will think it's quite worn and abused, but I quite like that in guitars. So this is a 1965 Gibson SG Standard. So it's an early 65, so it has the wider neck, which is the preference. And you will see that there is some work going on with the neck, which we'll have a look at in a minute. But we've got the engraved lyre vibrola there, sort of correct for this year. We've got the original patent number sticker pickups. We've got the previous owner's name engraved into there with a knife or something like that. But there we go. Look at that. It's got all genuine checking and wear. Single owner for a very long time. I'm not sure if from new, but certainly an incredibly long time, at least the 1970s. And if we have a look on the back of the heel here, we can see there has been a repair. So a repair to the heel, which is a typical weak point in these Gibson SGs. And there's also a repair to the wing on the head. So there has been some refinishing on the neck as well to allow for this. And you can see on the front of the head as well, there has been something going on here. And you'll see here the tuners original tuners starting to mummify or shrink, as we say. But there we go, with his original case. So it is essentially all the parts, all the pots check out. So close to original example, with some genuine wear with its original case. So a Gibson gig bag usually means a studio or something similar. But this time we have a Gibson SG, continuing the SG theme with the 50s tribute. Now, interestingly with this one, haven't really looked too far into it so far, but on the back of the head, we've got prototype. So, interesting guitar.
Need some light, pal.
There we go.
In there somewhere. Just a bit.
Can we see it?
Just a bit.
He'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So 2013 Gibson 70s tribute prototype. So we've got the 2 soap bar pickups there, and we've got the Bigsby here with the Vibramate fitted, so there are no extra holes added to allow for this contraption. What this basically allows you to do is it puts this plate on so you can mount the Bigsby onto it. But we do have the original stop bar and the original bridge. This has now got a roller bridge fitted to allow for that. But there we go, with its original gig bag. Looking at some Les Pauls and sticking with the studio thing like the SG that we just saw, and the same year as well, 2013. So this is a satin finish gold top guitar. So we've got the gold top on the mahogany, brown mahogany back. And we actually have some 57 classic pickups installed here. I believe they're an upgrade. I don't think they're standard for this model, unless this is a model that I don't know about. If so, and you know more, let us know in the comments. Always interesting to hear. I can't say I've extensively researched this one yet, but pretty sure they're an upgrade. Replaced control knobs. They are not original. They should be the bonnet type knobs as far as I'm aware. And comes with this Gibson gold case. So relatively good clean condition, nice stripped back studio type model. 2013 Gibson Les Paul Studio. And talking about gold tops, look at that. Extremely clean, and I'm going to say possibly one of the best examples in the world. This is a 1952 Gibson Les Paul. We had a 52 in the last sale that was nice and crusty, and quite honestly how I prefer to see them, a little bit worn, but it's incredible to have one in this condition. So this comes with its original case, comes with a report from Groon's Guitars from 2008, and the report is basically a valuation report and talking about its originality. But you can see the checking on there, the really fine checking, and if you hold it in different lights it kind of it pops out at you, but lovely to see. It's really got that vintage smell as well. So incredible sounding P90 pickups. You'll see the bridge is the Mojo Wax type, so this allows just allows it allows for better playability. So it's got the original bridge, which is there, sort of the barrel type arched bridge, and then we do have the original guard. So there's a later guard currently installed, and quite incredibly we have an original tag, $210, way back when. So nice to have the hang tag, and then we've got the Les Paul model guitar advert as well. So all quite incredible really, with the original pink lined case. Really nice thing. So there we go, 1952 Gibson Les Paul gold top, and go find a better example. And another vintage Les Paul, but slightly later this one. And if we have a look at the 12th fret, not the 12th fret, the 14th fret should I say, we have the 20th anniversary block inlay. So that can only mean one thing. It's a 1974 Gibson Les Paul Custom, and in this custard, yummy custard finish.
Custard custom.
So it's yellowed significantly, would have originally been white, and this guitar comes in its original pink lined case, as you can see. But this is a good original example, apart from it has yellowed quite a bit, but some people will like that. Original pickups, all the hardware's correct. Now, this guitar has a fairly interesting history. It's been consigned from the estate of a chap called Don Jose, who worked for Britannia Lighting. Now, Britannia Lighting were the lighting crew behind the Pink Floyd tours back in the 70s and the 80s. And Don was one of the main lighting technicians for that tour. And he actually purchased this guitar from Phil Taylor, David Gilmour's tech at the time, whilst they were out on tour. So it's come from within the Pink Floyd family, never used by David Gilmour or any of the guys in Pink Floyd, but just an interesting story. So he's owned this guitar for, we believe it was around 1979. I did speak to Phil Taylor about it, who confirmed the story. So around 1979, purchased by Don from Phil Taylor. So comes with its original case, and yeah, just a really nice thing. And made a couple of years later, from 1976, we have another Gibson Les Paul Custom. This one in a wine red finish, but this has been refinished. Quite a heavy guitar, this one. And if we have a look up there, you can see the little window's been left to show the serial stamp they used at the time. So the 00 indicates 76. And apart from the refinish, it's pretty much all there. We've got a replacement bridge, but the stop bar, pickups, everything else appear as they should, with a slightly later case as well, sort of an 80s period Gibson hard case. Les Paul after Les Paul at the moment. Here we go. So we have a 2018 Gibson Custom R9. So really nice maple figuring on there. I like it because it kind of like it figures both ways. So it kind of makes the maple figuring quite random and not too uniformed, which I'd say is a preference. But you can just see it's in good condition, good clean condition with its original case. Comes with all its tags and papers. So an R9 from 2018. Don't let the case trick you. It's not a Godin. It does begin with a G though. It's a Gibson. There we go. Just about fits in there. So this is actually a pretty rare guitar. I love the weight of it. So we've got a double cut Les Paul Special, but you can see it's limited edition of 300. So these were made in 1995. So the serial number tells us. So 1995 limited edition, number 31 of 300, Gibson Les Paul Special, and these have come up quite a lot in value in recent years. We've had a couple over the years, but this is, yeah, nice guitar, brilliant weight, pickups sound fantastic, and yeah, can't really go wrong if you're in the market for a Les Paul Special. And in this case, we have a Gibson ES-335. And this is from 1996, so good period, and in the cherry finish. It's got some, you can see some figuring in the maple underneath the cherry there, with the trans cherry finish, but generally it's just in good condition. With the case, there are a few dings and marks around as you'd expect for a guitar this age. But yeah, 1996, good period, ES-335. So we're just going to end this video with, this isn't the last thing, but we're going to end this video with a short run of going back to SG related guitars. And this is a early 70s Gibson SG Special. It does need a bit of cleaning, as you can see, but we have early 70s specs. You have these sort of smaller block inlays. You can see those frets really do need some work, heavily oxidized, recently come in from a deceased estate. And we've got these mini humbuckers on there as well, sort of typical for this period. But Gibson SG Special, early 70s. These are great guitars when they're up and running and playing well. Just needs a bit of TLC, and that will be a good rock workhorse for you. Now this is quite interesting. As you'll see, there's no guitar. But the reason we're featuring this is we do sell spares, and so not only to highlight the fact we do sell spares and cases and things, but this has a really interesting story, and this will actually be in the artist owned section because it has some relation to Eric Clapton. Now, in the Christie's Crossroads auction back in 1999, there was a 1962 Gibson Les Paul SG that was Eric Clapton, sold as part of his collection, and this guitar at some point ended up in the hands of the vendor who was selling this. Now, he eventually sold this guitar on, and when he sold the guitar on, he sold the guitar without the case because he thought that the case was not fit for purpose, so supplied the guitar in what he thought was a better case. Now, the case actually isn't in that bad condition, but that is the reason he kept it, and he thought that the case wouldn't really add much value to the guitar, quite naively. But here we are. It's a regular client. It's a client I've been dealing with for years and years. So someone we know quite well. So he's had all sorts of artist guitars over his time, and you'll see there is a Christie's tag on there. But the interesting thing that kind of backs up this story is in the original lot notes from the Christie's sale. It mentions a white label inscribed in Lee Dixon's handwriting. Now, this label has gone missing over the time because it's been dragged in and out. I mean, you can see it's been on flights and all sorts. So part of the label is unfortunately missing, which does include the serial number, which is a shame. But every other detail of the label is as in the Christie's listing, even the way it's written with the S.G. So we think, or we're pretty sure, based on all the history and provenance, and from what the vendor can remember, that this was the case for Eric Clapton's 62 SG. We're not talking about the slightly later full guitar, we're talking about the cherry red one that was sold in the 1999 Christie's auction. So if anyone happens to know where that guitar is, let us know, because we've probably got your case, or we've probably got their case. Yeah, interesting thing, and that will be coming up in the artist section in that September sale. We always like to finish a video with a bang, and I think this will just about do it. So I'm not going to reveal an Ibanez, which is what this case is for, an Ibanez musician or something like that. But we have a 1961 Gibson SG Junior in TV yellow. So I say SG, it would have been known as a Les Paul at that point of time. But the special thing about this is it was owned by Gary Moore. So full provenance as well. So this was Gary Moore's 1961 Gibson SG Les Paul Junior. Now this guitar was used for sort of some of the press photo sessions for the BBM tour, which of course is the Bruce Baker Moore. So Jack, Bruce, Ginger Baker and Gary Moore. And it was also used on some of the sessions for Blues for Greenie, and it does appear on the VHS. And there is one track in particular that this features on, and you can see that up on YouTube, Showbiz Blues. And there's some fantastic playing there, where Gary Moore's using a slide, but it just sounds incredible, which I think is a lot to do with Gary Moore's playing more than anything else. You will notice with this guitar we do have some locking tuners installed, but we do have the original tuners. So just for extra stability, there are some locking tuners added, but original tuners retained. Pickup cover is later, but it is an original pickup, and I just think that is a incredible thing, really, just to be holding one of Gary Moore's old guitars, and one that he did use for specific work rather than just being something in his collection. So there it is. Doesn't come with his original case, comes with an Ibanez case. I think that's always part of the charm with these artist guitars. But there we go. Gary Moore's 1961 Gibson or Les Paul SG Junior in TV yellow. So there we go, ladies and gents. Thanks for joining us today. I think this video featured some of my favourite guitars that are coming up in the September auction. Let us know what you think in the comments. Tell us your favourite things. SGs really are my bag, so I particularly like the 65 SG, and of course it's an honour to be able to offer another one of Gary Moore's guitars. So all these guitars are coming up in the auction on the 3rd to the 6th of September. If you like these videos, please remember to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button, hit the bell icon for future videos as well. We are really quickly coming to the consignment deadline. We'll get a lot of these guitars played by Jack as well, with demo videos coming up. I believe they'll be recorded next week, and then the following week they will be up. So we are now running to the end of the consignment update series for this sale, but we will have a couple more coming at the end of this week and the following week as well. So again, thanks for joining us today, and we will see you next time.